What's up, everybody? You're listening to the one and only T-Mac Inspired Podcast. Listen as she sits down with regular people to discuss the ideas, the opportunities, and the wealth-building strategies that they're taking advantage of so the rest of us can do the same.
Arthur.
Hello. What's going on, Miss Tasha Mac Inspired?
Hey, I just found out that your name, you have the same kind of business name or brand. Arthur Lyle Inspires.
Arthur Lyle Inspires. Absolutely. Yeah,
That's kind of cool.
It is very cool. When I seen that on your site, I got this email that said T-Mac Inspired. I said, well, that is dope. I said, that's dope.
You just know me as T-Mac, right?
Huh? Yeah, I just know you as T-Mac.
Yeah.
Tasha Mac from the game. I used to call you. That's what every time I think about it, Tasha Mac, I think about the game.
That's what a lot of people say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming on. I have a question for you.
Okay.
You were making six figures in your business and you almost ended up homeless.
Yeah. Wow.
Tell me about that.
Okay.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's a good start. So yeah, wow. So look, I was running my multiple six-figure barbershop business, and my wife and my daughter got 18. Well, she's 18 now. She was 18 then. And we were renting from a house that we had, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the time I wasn't ready to buy. My wife was ready to buy. I wasn't ready to buy. I was still trying to build the business. And at the time I was running my barbershop, but I was also putting on this massive hair show, right? Where like I called it Barber's Eye. You can see that's what my other brand is right there. It's called Barber's Eye Expo. And all of the people that I've networked with over the years, different hair shows and stuff like that, classes I've taught people at, I had them come to this event here in Omaha, and this big event with like thousands of people there. All of a sudden, our landlord was like, hey, are you guys ready to buy the house? Because she made an offer to us to rent to own. And she's like, and I was like, we're not ready yet. She's like, well, I give you until April. No, I give you till April. And in April, once at the end of April, I'm gonna put it on the market till April. And then once at the end of April, if no one buys, you guys can stay in the house for another year. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, good. So I'm steady promoting my show. I'm steady running my barbershop and all of these things. And my wife was like, well, we need to be looking for a house. And I'm like, I'm not looking. God, I'm just let God handle it. And it gets to the last day of the month. And, we're getting really close and no one's put an offer out. And then on the last day in April, it sold. And it was like, oh man, what are we going to do? Right? We didn't have, I wasn't looking for a home, promoting this big show. I'm running my business. And so now we only got 30 days to find a place to stay. And my wife is stressing out, but no one knows. I'm promoting this show. I couldn't cancel it. So all the way until the 30 days that we had to get out, my show started in 3 days. And we had no place, we had found nothing. And we packed up the whole house, had this whole house with nothing in it. with nowhere to put it. And man, so the show was supposed to start that next day. And then one of my friends, I was cutting his hair, and he just actually, for whatever reason, said, man, I'm trying to find somebody to rent my house out to, but I just don't know, do you know anybody? And me not even trying to tell him my full story, we just kind of talked about it, and he just made an offer. But we literally had to be out that day. We literally had to be out that day with no place to go, and we would have been homeless. So I felt like a failure because my wife, my daughter, we didn't have anywhere to go. We couldn't go home. We couldn't go to our parents. I got this big show and brand is booming, and we had no place to stay. And then finally, God just led that man in my chair, allowed me to cut his hair. He said, well, you can move in next week or move in tomorrow. So he let us move in that next day. We didn't, and it just really worked like that. So we literally had no place to stay to having a place to stay in a day, just like that. My wife didn't want to live there because she didn't like the location originally, but we didn't have any other options at the time. And that's how that started. So we literally for, you know, making me feel like as an entrepreneur on that roller coaster, feeling like almost a failure. You know, fail my family, fail my business, promoting this business, running 6-figure business, and still no place to go. But guys,
so let me ask you, you were running a successful business. Obviously, you were having these big expos and things.
Absolutely.
You were making 6 figures in your business. Why did you feel like you weren't ready to purchase a house?
Well, at the time, I didn't know enough about it at the time, right? Mm-hmm. I just wasn't, you know, it's kind of interesting that what we know about, what we aware of, what we know more about. In fact, actually, what I wanted to do, I wanted to buy investment properties first before I bought my own. I was looking for the Rich Dad Poor Dad model, right? Mm-hmm. I wanted to buy some assets first, and then get my own property. I didn't want to buy the house and the house be a liability. That was the thought process behind that. So and that was the reason why. And I was like, I want to make sure that our home is paid for, everything is paid for through rentals.
Okay. So are you investing now? Do you invest in real estate?
Absolutely. Well, we own our home now, and absolutely, always, yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So I know we're in the same inner circle. We have the same we share the same mentor, and we talk a lot, you know, not a lot, but we talk a little bit, you know, on our breaks and stuff like that. And I was intrigued because you are a barber by trade, and, you know, I did hair for 23 years, right? So there was that instant connection, and I'm like, wow, you know, he's a barber, and you invested a lot of money, you know, into the, you know, being in the inner circle, into your personal development. What does that mean when everyday barbers, everyday hairstylists? Trust me, I was in the industry for 23 years. We were not investing in personal development. So what does that mean to you? How important is that personal development for barbers and hairstylists and, you know, people like that in that industry, beauty industry?
I think it goes just beyond the industry. I believe personal development is something that everybody should inquire, you know, about, because I mean, I'm a barber by the craft, but really I'm an athlete. Like I play basketball, so I always wanted the best. I always want to play the best. I want to be the best. I always want the best out of myself. So even when I became a barber, I wanted to be the best barber in the world. I wanted to have the best barber shop in the world. And the only way to do things like that is you got to study the best people. You got to study the best businesses. You got to study the best hair cutters, the hair color, whatever it is, you know, and that is indirectly personal development. I didn't know it originally, but I just know, hey, look, I just want to be the best. Who is the best that I can go model, and I can, you know, if I can, because I had a thing in my mind, and if I can see it, I can do it, right? Mm-hmm. So if I can see you do it, if you did it, oh, absolutely, I can do it.
Oh, okay.
So I believe, like you said, a barber stylist, you know, most people just settle, they take their craft and whatever skill set that they have, and then they just take that, and then they think they're great, but really you're only great as what you've been doing in the past. You're never going to be more if you don't learn more, if you don't develop more. And that's why I think, like you said, it's important, because you're just going to be stagnant. And I never want to be stagnant.
So are you still behind the chair?
No. I cut friends. I do in a way where I cut just a few people, right? Because I enjoy it. And I think me cutting behind a chair is really fellowship now.
So what do you do now?
So now I coach people, and I'm also, you know, I'm an investor. So those are the two main things that I do. And I have a couple other businesses, and I write books and stuff like that. So I do a lot of speaking. So I'm kind of doing that whole entrepreneurial stuff right now and coaching space.
Okay. So are you like a motivational speaker? What type of speaker are you?
No, I wouldn't consider myself a motivational speaker, although I would say more of a mastery coach. Right? I teach people how to master stuff.
Tell me more.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I believe that, you know, so I tell you this, when I first opened up my barbershop, when I first wanted to open up my barbershop, I found this lady, her name, I call her Miss Mary. She's been an angel to me. So when I first found her on Craigslist, I was looking for some barber equipment. I had very little funds, didn't have much to invest. I had like, I don't know, $3,000. And I seen that she was selling all her stuff. And so I went, you know, to go visit her and tell her, hey, look, I'm a barber. I'm trying to open my first barbershop, blah, blah, blah. And I really don't have a big budget, but I'm interested in, you know, your equipment if you're willing to sell it. And she asked me, well, tell me, why do you think I should sell my things to you? And I was just like, well, I'm a barber and I just really want to, you know, master the art of barbering. I really like the science of it. I think I'm really good. I just love serving people, right, at the highest level. And she's like, okay. But then my cousin went with me and she's like, well, tell me about you. What do you do? And he was like, well, I do this. He said, I cut hair. I do ladies' hair. I cook. I do cars and all of these. And she's like, oh, okay. So she's like, he's like kind of like a jack of all trades. What he said. She said, oh, like a jack of all trades and a master of none. Right. That's what she said to his face. And we both was like, ooh, right. We were like, ooh. And for him, it was disruptive. Like it broke him down. It was like, man, it really broke him down for the next couple of years. He really felt broken. But for me, it encouraged me. It gave me purpose, because this older lady that already had a business and is already really successful, she encouraged me to be more intrigued about mastering what I do, right? So focus on only on one thing until you're successful. Considering I was already doing that, she sold me all of her product, all of her stuff for $1,000. I was able to fulfill my whole barbershop for $1,000. She said, take whatever you want. I like where you're going. If you master stuff, you know, you can get further in life. So that's how I became a master of my craft. So now I teach other people, like, in order to elevate to the top, you got to master some stuff. You got to master your mind, you got to master your message, and you got to master your body, right? And then if you can do all those things, you master your life, right? But if you do all of that, the whole key core thing is you can master your pocketbook. And I teach people how to do that with a skill set, you know, and turn your skill set into your tool sets, which allows you to grow, right? That's what it's all about. It's all about growth, planting the right seeds at the right time.
I like it. I like it. So how old were you then, or what year was this? Just give me the year. What year was that? The year
was 2008. This is 2008. So I started my barbershop during the recession.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So 2008 is when you got that idea of, I have to master this one thing.
Yes.
Just one thing.
One thing.
And then you built a successful business in that one thing. Mm-hmm. So once you master the art of barbering, because it is an art. Yes, for sure. Once you mastered that, what made you decide, okay, now I want to go and I want to teach other people, or I want to coach other people. I want to help other people master whatever it is that they want to master.
Yeah, well, so there was a time so my story is based on barbering because it gave me purpose, right? Mm-hmm. And me being a barber allowed me to reach people, right? It allowed me to listen to people more than I speak, right? And so being a barber, I got to learn about people, right? So there was a time where I got really stuck in life, right? Well, a lot of times I got stuck in life, but there was this one particular time that I was really stuck. I was ready to give up on barbering. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And my cousin was like, well, you ain't really even got that. I was really good at cutting hair at the time. He's like, you ain't really that good. He tried to really bust my bubble, right? He's like, you all right? You what? You cut, but you ain't really did nothing in the industry like that. Like, I mean, you talking about giving up on it. And I was like, what are you talking about, right? But he's like, I mean, there's other people doing this and they doing design, they got color, you can do this and that, and you ain't did nothing. And as much as it bust my bubble, he was right. But I was ready to give up. But my father told me when I was a kid, just whatever you do, just never give up, never quit. So I went to a hair show in Chicago for the first time. And I went to Chicago to go look at this hair show. And when I went there, I had got a new, I got my youth bag. It's like the clumps, it's the youth juice, right? And I was like, man, I seen these guys doing hairstyles and they doing colors. I seen this guy put Pepe Le Pew on the back of somebody's head. And it was around the time when Obama was, going for president. So a guy was doing designs and putting almost face in the back of people's head. And I can't do none of that stuff at the time. I'm like, this is ridiculous. This is people doing this with hair. And I see how passionate people were. They was making money. They was making 6 figures. They had multiple businesses. They're happy. And I'm like, I don't see this in my city, right? So after I went there, I was hooked. I was traveling from hair show to hair show, hair show. Every month I was at a different state, different city, you know, either learning, trying to do these designs and all of these things. But then I got so hooked, I got better, and I came back here and I would, you know, teach everything I knew. And then I started to advance really, really fast. So I was like, I need to do this for my people. My people need to see this because I know they're not going to travel like I did. So I need to do this for my people. So that's when it kind of hit me, that seed. And that's when I started doing my hair shows and doing classes and helping other people see what I see so they can have more purpose in life.
You know, I always wanted to be a platform artist when I was doing hair. Oh, wow. Yeah. I didn't travel because my kids were so, you know, they were small and I was a single parent. So I was like, maybe not, maybe I shouldn't do it. But I love the beauty industry. Like I do, you know, I'm thinking about getting back into it, not doing hair, but, you know, just owning salons. I love the industry. I miss it. And I see the connection. I see how you can connect with other barbers or anybody in the beauty industry. Do you work with anybody in the beauty industry?
Absolutely. I mean, the coolest thing, this is the misconception of barber and beauty industry that most people miss. A1, it's a $3 billion a year industry, right? So it's a lot of wealth in this industry. The other thing is that it's not, when you think of, the only thing about it is that when you say barber or you say beautician, you automatically only associate it with people that does hair, right? But what most people don't realize is that industry, the barber and the beauty industry, is the core of what most people are successful, right? Because people come to the hair salon, people go to the barbershop to gain their confidence, to get inspired, to have a shoulder crown, to speak to their therapist, to, you know what I mean? Because that's who they become. Your hairstylist, your barber is your unqualified as qualified therapist, right? Your hair therapist, right? But you know what I mean? So you go, here's the thing. I tell people all the time, like some people will tell their significant others or tell their barber or their hairstylist things that they never tell their husbands or their wives, right? So because they trust them.
Oof.
Right? They trust them. Them, and you can gain so much trust from this industry, right?
Yes.
And if you can gain trust from people, the next thing with gaining someone's trust, you know, you have value, right? And the only thing is the thing is attached to value is income. So if you raise your value, you raise your income. So that's why I love the beauty industry, because it always allows me to raise my value. And it's not just people with hair. Like I got clients and friends that you know got me that they're in the NFL, NBA, and things of that nature, and we're friends, right? Like real friends, to the point where like even now I don't have to cut their hair, and we're real friends. Where I probably would have never met these individuals had I just been in another industry or job or what have you, you know. So I love the fact that that industry allowed me to see the world and meet new people from different places.
What would you say to people who are in the industry and they haven't quite mastered anything yet, or people who are not in the industry, just everyday, you know, entrepreneurs who have not quite mastered their craft or mastered what they set out to do? What would you say to them? What would be the first thing you would say if you were their coach?
Yeah, so first thing I would say is double down on your strengths and hire your weaknesses.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Double down.
Double down on your strengths and hire your weaknesses.
Hire your weaknesses?
Yes.
What does that mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, some people say work on your weaknesses. Like I used to be in basketball and they'd be like, work on your weaknesses so your weaknesses become your strengths. But I'm counterintuitive to that, right? Because if you work on your weaknesses so much, your strength becomes your weakness, right? Because if you can double down on what you're strong at, you can delegate what you're weak at, you can go faster, further, and you can get there, even quicker, right? Because with more value. The thing is that, like, if you think about like Michael Jordan or LeBron James, right? They mastered the art of basketball, right? Yes, they're really good at a lot of things, but they're really great at one thing. What's the one thing that you're great at? What's the one thing that if you master it, it will pour into everything else? So that's what I teach people. I teach you to just, what is the one thing that sets you apart? Because you have your unique blueprint, your unique thumbprint, or whatever that is that you do that no one else can do. And if you can do that and you master that, if you master that, 95% of that is 95% of your life is going to come from that. And the other 5% is going to be, everything else that everybody helps you get there, right? Your team is going to be your system, is going to be the automations, it's going to be all those other things that support the one thing that you're great at.
Oof. Wow. Now that was a whole bar. like that was a whole bar. And the reason why I'm saying that is because that's one of the things I know you've heard me tell people all the time. Focus on one thing. 10 and 2. Put your hands on 10 and 2. You got to focus on one thing to even know if you like it or going to be good at it. Right. Just focus on that one thing. Then once you master it, then you move on to the next thing. But I don't use the word master. I just say, because I love to talk about money. So I always say, once you get it to high 6, 7, low 7 figures, then move to the next thing, right?
Absolutely.
If not, you're never gonna be good at anything. You're just not. You're just gonna keep going, and starting over. Whenever you start over, you know what happens. You start back at 0. So if you gain momentum in something, why not just keep going until you've mastered it? So it makes sense. And I like when you say you hire your weaknesses. That means you delegate and you hire people, or you put systems in place to take care of the things that you're not good at, so you can be great at what you're great at. And that thing that you're great at, that's what you offer the world.
Absolutely. That's your gift, right? One thing I always talk about is like the self-mastery. You got to learn how to master self, right? So you got to master your mind. You got to master your self-talk. So many people do. This is what I've learned for myself. And my grandmother, when I was a kid, she's like, "Boy, you always talking to yourself. Stop talking to yourself." And I'm like, "Well, I ain't got nobody to talk to." She's like, "Boy, people think you crazy." And it's so funny. She's always say that. But this is the one thing I'm glad I didn't listen to my grandmother on that. One thing. This is the one thing that I can say I didn't follow directions, right? But what I've learned is sometimes we do more listening to ourselves and not enough talking to ourselves, right? And if you're listening to yourself, you're hearing not what is your message, you're hearing everybody else's message. You might be hearing something that you heard on Instagram yesterday. You might be hearing something that you've seen on television. You might be hearing something that you watched on Power. You might be hearing something that, you know what I'm saying? You hearing your coach, you're hearing that coach, you're hearing their coach. You know what I mean? You hear everybody's message for your life except for the one that you want. And you focusing on what you don't want, and you don't even know what you want. I was telling my little brother the other day, he was like, "Big bro, I got some goals. How do I get them? I really just don't understand. I know you teach this stuff, but you told me before, but I still don't understand." I was like, I asked him, I did a scenario with him, Tasha. I was like, "Well, let me ask you what I said, what I asked him, because he doesn't drink or smoke. I'm like, how about if I offered you some drugs for $1,000, would you use them?" He was like, "No, absolutely not." I was like, "Why?" He said, "No, I just wouldn't. I'm not interested." I said, "Okay, so what if so what is it that you do want?" He's like, "Well, I don't know what I want." But you know what you don't want? You don't want to do any drugs, right? Because you know how it would affect your body. So many people focus on what they don't want, but they have no clue what they do want. And when you can get clear on what it is that you actually want for yourself, it's kind of like looking at the rear. It's like looking at the windshield of your life. Stop driving and looking at the rear view mirror when you got the windshield right there in front of you. But put on the windshield what it is that you desire, and you can just take a little step by step, and you get there closer and closer, and then you get it. So that's what I teach people, is mastering that self-talk and telling yourself, I want this. I'm going to get that. This is where I'm going. Master that talk.
So how do you get there though? Like, how do you get from not knowing what you want? I mean, from knowing what you don't want to knowing what you want. Like, how do you get there? Because there's a lot of people, they're really stuck. They can give me or give us 100 things that they don't want, but they can't give us one thing that they do want. How do they get from there to there?
So I have people do an exercise where I say the 300 goal challenge. Write out 300 goals. And when you write your goals like you was a kid. You know, one of my, I got an older client. He was older. He's like, man, I just had this kid. He was 40 years old. He got a new kid. He'd be asking all these questions. He was like, Dad, I want to go, let's go to go watch Dallas play football, right? The Dallas Cowboys. He's like, well, we can just go watch the Super Bowl, Dad. We don't have to wait till next season. He's like, boy, you know how much them tickets cost in the Super Bowl? We ain't going to no Super Bowl. We're going to wait till next season when we can go. He's like, but Dad, it's just the Super Bowl. It's a Super Bowl. We can go. And I was like, isn't it interesting that this little man, your little man is a kid. He's about 5 years old. I said, isn't it interesting that when he said he wanted to go to a game, he said, let's go to the Super Bowl. And the first thought you said is how much it cost, right? Where the kids said, let's just go, right? Because kids don't have a spirit of fear. They don't care. They don't judge their goals and what they want based on their pocketbook. So when I have people do the 300 goal challenge, I say, write your goals as if you were a child and you don't care about money and you're not judging your situation. You're not looking at where you're at and how you're going to get there, because how is left up to God, right? You just got to know what it is. Write those goals. I had one guy say he wanted a giraffe in his backyard. That's okay. Allow yourself to be creative so you can dream, because when you allow yourself to be creative so you can dream, you'll allow yourself to tap into that subconscious mind. So your ideas that you blocked and you gave up on so many years, you now give yourself a fighting chance to win. That's what's the start. So just go write 300 goals and don't judge. Don't say that's too big, that's too small, that's not possible. Just write it down. And that writing process, it brings you back to Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and keep it playing.
Oh yeah. It sounds like we're coaching the same, we saying the same things when we're coaching, but basically I would say this: good coaches, that's what they do. Absolutely. You have to have principles, and certain things that you talk about is based on your principles. And that's one of, I can tell it's one of your principles as well as mine. You have to write your vision down. You got to, and I coach people and tell them, look, when you write down what you want, don't think about money. Money is not an issue. Like, they print money every single day, like money, and it doesn't leave the earth. So, I mean, if they keep printing it, then there's more and more and more. There's an abundance. So when you write down what you want to do, be, and have, do it without even thinking about money as an issue. Don't worry about the how, right? That's not our job.
Ooh, it's not. That's so good.
That's some good stuff. Oh my God. We can go on and on and on, but you dropped some gems. You dropped a lot of bars and things that would help a lot of people who are stuck. They can't master anything because they're doing everything. You dropped some gems on that, how to focus on that. Just going after that thing, that being childlike, let me say that, being childlike, going after the things that you want in life with the childlike spirit, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna ask you one more question, because I'm intrigued about this part. Okay. What made you get into bodybuilding?
You know what? So that's a great question. And you know what? I'm glad you asked me that, because it's a core pivotal part of my my pivot in business, right? Mm-hmm. So at the time when I first got into barber building, when I first got into bodybuilding, I was still behind a chair, and this is, I think, like 2018, and 2000. So first off, the story goes like this: I was fat. I'm skinny now, but cutting behind a chair, and all you do is cut hair, and you know, people bring you food, your wife might bring you food, people like selling dinners, and you know all of that stuff, right? So it's easy to get what I call the barber belly, right? You just standing up, you're not really working out as much. But me as an athlete playing basketball, it's the first time in my life I didn't have abs. And that was like kind of frustrating, you know what I mean, to me, you know what I mean? So one day my daughter and I was watching, no, before that, I'll take that back. I got big, right? And I hurt my, I had, what do you call it? I had tore my, pulled a, what do you call it?
You pulled a muscle?
Yeah, muscle, but it's a, so I got arthritis in my neck. I pulled a, what do you call it?
Ligament?
A pinched nerve. I had a pinched nerve. There you go. Sorry. I had to say it because I got a pinched nerve in the back of my neck. So I was really like hurting, in a lot of pain, right? And I got fat, and then I stopped working out. I finally got healed, and I had this big old barber belly. I had this big old belly. My daughter was like, "Dang, Dad, your belly look like the Grinch," right? just murdered me, right? Like that, just killed me. Like, "Dang, Dad, your belly look like the Grinch." And we like talk about each other, and we bag, have fun all the time, and joke a lot. And I was like, "Oh, okay, that was funny. That's cute." And then I don't know, a couple weeks later, we happened to watch The Grinch, the cartoon or the movie with Jim Carrey, right? And I'm looking like, dang, I'm looking at his belly, like, that's big. Like, that's what I look like. So that's when it hit me, like 2 weeks after my daughter had said it to me. I said, oh, no, never. You know, I'm an athlete. Like, I've never been a big guy. So I'm like, you know, I got into fitness and I started working out and, you know, just doing what I knew. And, but also at the same time, I was looking to upgrade my mindset, and I was also looking to upgrade my pocketbook. And I was like, man, I just need to figure out what's my one word. What am I going to do to make me get more money and make me, you know, help me grow, right? And I needed discipline. The one thing I wanted was discipline, right? And one of my clients at the time, he was like, man, you know what? He's like, Art, he's like, Lyle, there's one thing if you ever thought about doing bodybuilding, because, you know, bodybuilding is kind of the same alignment as like you want to be a millionaire and stuff like that. I'm like, how so? He's like, the discipline that it takes. And he's like, you got to just be really disciplined on all that stuff. I'm like, I was like, all right. And then it was like, yeah, in the barbershop, it got really hype, and people was talking about like how I couldn't do it. And you want to go somewhere fast, let somebody tell you what you can't do, right? Right? So then instantly I became competitive. I said, I'm going to do it. I'll show you I can do it, even though it was hard. So for the next, 90 days or so, I signed up for bodybuilding, a competition. And that's the thing, that's the hack for anybody have any goals, is it's hard to hit a goal that you can't see. So you got to give yourself a target date. So I had a target date for this competition and had no idea about it, scared, didn't know anything to do, didn't know anything, but I had a coach. I just followed the coach. I did everything he said do, even though I hated every minute of it, right? And I showed up at the gym 5 days a week at first, then 6 days a week. And I worked out for an hour every day, and I had 6 meals per day, and all of this stuff for the next 90 days. And then all of a sudden I had a full transformation in my body. I went from fat boy to fit boy in 12 weeks. And then it was time to show up for the bodybuilding competition. And I won. I took second place the first time, and that hit me. I was like, oh my God, this is ridiculous. So now my body looked like Zeus from, the Greek gods. I said, oh, this is ridiculous. I've been an athlete all my life. I never was able to do this by myself. But I understood it was the coach. It was me being, and the discipline that I went through. I said, wow, if I can do that in 12 weeks, basically I can do anything in 12 weeks. So that's the alignment that I set myself up. So after that, I said, if I could just keep the same discipline, I won the first one. And if you not noticed, over 90 days, I became the top of my class in bodybuilding. And then I got invited to go to Worlds. So I traveled to Miami and competing with these big bodybuilders. So I won 5 trophies in 1 year in bodybuilding. Okay. So what does that tell you? In order to elevate to the top, it really only takes you 12 weeks. So
wait a minute.
Yeah.
I'm in my Kevin Hart voice. Yeah. Don't wait a minute.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you just pass by that like you didn't just say that? Whoa, you got to repeat that. Come on, for the people in the back. Come on. Absolutely. What now?
In order to elevate, it only really takes you 12 weeks of discipline and action. even if you don't know what you're doing, even if you don't know how, even if it hurts, if you just stay committed to a goal for 12 weeks, you can easily rise to the top. Why? I break it down for you, because in a whole year, see, most people are looking to make a New Year's resolution and it takes them 12 months to accomplish that one goal. But this is what I found out, Tasha Mack. Look, it's 12 months in a year, but it's also 12 it's 4 quarters in a year, right? You got 4 quarters, just like in a basketball game or a football game or any other sports. It's 4 quarters, and in each quarter there's a limited time. So in this world we call life, it's 4 quarters, and it's every 3 months is 12 weeks. Okay, so if you don't win the first or the second quarter, you still got the third or the fourth quarter to win the game, right? But see, so many people are trying to win the whole game by playing one year. But if you break your 12 weeks into 4 calendar years, you get 4 years in one, right? So it looks like this. It looks like this. Every week, every month is a year. Every week is a month. Every day is a week, right?
No, every day should be an hour, right?
Every month is a year.
Okay.
Every week is a month.
Okay.
A month, and every day is a week, and every hour is a day.
Got it. Okay.
So it breaks down like that. Yeah. So you break it down in that fashion. If you break it down in those little bite-sized things, you can accomplish so much more, so much faster, right? And that's why I say it kind of complements what I said earlier, is, you know, focusing on your strengths and hiring your weaknesses. Because if you break your stuff down in that fashion, you don't have time to work on your weaknesses. You only got to work on your strengths. You only got to work on what's going to get you to that goal in the next 12 weeks, right? Because you don't have time for weak people. You don't have time for weak minds. You don't have time for weak conversations. You don't have time for those things. I only need to focus on the things that help me grow. Once you plant that seed in the soil, I water it, I neutralize it, and it grows. As I manifest, is because I'm doing things intentionally to make it grow, right? And that's what, you know, over the next 12 weeks, you get 4 times done what most people get done in 1 year, because you broken it down to 12 weeks mastery class. That's what I teach. That's how you're faster. And I've learned that from bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is how I was able to understand that, put it into principles.
I think that's what really catapults your mastery.
Yes, absolutely.
Because I'm having all kind of aha moments right now. Because I'm like, why is it? And you know, this is a woman's thing primarily. I'm in this group with some women, and we're like, okay, so you know, we just got in this keto group. Like, I'm not, you know, sometimes I do keto, sometimes I don't, right? But I literally had to put a date on it. And I said, because nobody was really putting dates on anything. We were just in the group sharing keto recipes, you know? And I was like, no, I want to be at X amount of weight, right? But I'm going to do it. And I didn't realize the 12-week thing. I said, I'm going to do it in 90 days. Now, the first maybe week and a half, I dropped 11 pounds.
Ooh.
But then I was like, oh, I got time. I'll just chill out. And then I gained like 5 pounds. And I was like, uh-oh, no. I said, I'm going to do this in 12 weeks. And I got 12 weeks to do it. I don't have a year. I don't have a half a year. I got 12 weeks. And I said, March the 1st will be 12 weeks. I think if you start January 1st, March 1st is 12 weeks, right? You know, I'm horrible with time.
Yeah. January morning. Yeah, that's right. Okay. That's good. Yeah,
but good. Not March 31st. It's March 1st, right? From January 1st to March 1st.
It's close enough.
Okay, so that's what I said.
I said 31 days, 30 days. That's good.
Okay,
that's good.
So I said 12 weeks. So that's what I said. And I said March 1st, I will be at my goal weight. So what did that do for me? That made me hold myself more accountable than just being in an accountability group with them, right? So when I want to eat something that I know is really going to blow it out the water, I'm like, no, I have to March the 1st. Like, that is it. That's my goal to get where I want to be. So it makes sense. I'm having this aha moment. Like, I didn't know I was doing that, but subconsciously that's what I was doing. Right. So I'm mastering and learning how to take control over my body and not just out here willy-nilly in it. All right. I don't know.
No, that's exactly right. Because here's the thing. If you think about it, Tasha, man, everything that's good is on the inside. Everything that's good is on the inside. If you look at anything, if you look at a car, it might look really nice on the outside, but what's on the inside? That engine is what make it fun. If you look at a water bottle, oh, it's a nice Fiji water bottle. It's neat. It costs more because of that, but what makes it good is the nutrition that's inside, right? If you think about anything that's really, really good, it starts on the inside first. If the inside is not good, the outside will be toxic. It doesn't matter how good it is on the outside. The inside is not good. So you working on your insides is why you shine so amazingly on the outside. And that's each of us, right? You know, so I believe that if the harder we work on our minds, the harder we work on our bodies, the easier we can grow our pocketbooks. So because the mind must grow before your pocketbook can grow.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you don't work on your mind, your pocket won't grow. Because like you said earlier, people is trying to make money, but you can't make money. They make money in a mint. They make money, they print money. You got to create money. Money is to be created. We in a creative world, you know what I mean? So if you want to create something, you have to become valuable. You have to use your ideas, turn your can'ts into cans and your dreams into plans. It takes focus, and it takes intentionality, right? You know, you can't see it in reality if you can't see it in your mind. And if you don't start there, you'll never finish it.
This is too much. This is too much for the people right now. We can go on and on and on. This is getting deeper and deeper. Oh my Lord, Jesus. So I guess my last thing I said my last thing was talking about the bodybuilding. That opened up a can of worms. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to speak to the person, because there's one person right now who's listening, and that person has given up. They've been trying this entrepreneurial journey, and it just seems like they can't catch a break. And they're at the verge, and they're like, "This, I can't do anymore. This is it. This is my last hoorah." What would you tell that person?
Yeah, so I would tell that person, because I know that person. That person was me before. So you can you hear me? Mm-hmm. Okay, I know that person. That person was me once, and that person is first of all, like I tell you, in this is the best way I can say it. You know, my little brother asked me the other day. He was talking about getting married. He's like, "Man, I'm about to propose. Do you think this is a good thing to do? I really don't know what I want to do, but I think she's good for me and stuff like that. What do you think, big bro?" And I said, well, here's my only thing is, before you get on one knee to propose to somebody the rest of your life, get on both knees and propose to the one upstairs, and ask for what it is that you want. My favorite scripture is Matthew 7:7. It says, "Ask and you shall receive, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be open to you." But sometimes if you don't ask, you know, so many people don't ask, so they never receive. They don't look, they don't seek, so they never find, and they never knock, so the doors are never open. So the reason why you're probably in that place and you feel like the door isn't open is probably because you haven't knocked hard enough. Probably because you haven't asked the right questions, and probably because you're not looking in the right places. So I submit to you and say that if that's the place that you're in, change the questions that you're asking yourself. And just, you got to know this, that the place that you are at right now is because you have spoke that over your life. You did, no one else. If you were born broke, that's not your fault. But if you stay broke, it is your fault, because you have the opportunity to speak prosperity over your life by your tongue, because you have power there. Start there. Speak what you want to see. Speak it and allow that to manifest and give it time. That's what I would say to that person, because it will change. It will change the moment that you change.
Drop the mic.
Wow.
Thank you so much, brother, for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, man. I'm really grateful. Just wake up and win. Like, this is what I say all the time. Is like, keep it simple and keep it small. Keep it super simple. I have a mantra that I say all the time, Tasha Mack, and I say, win the day. And win the day looks like this. It's small wins make the biggest impact. So stop looking at the whole day and just calculate small wins. Just wake up, make your bed, and count it as a win. Just wake up and count your blessings and say your prayers. That's a win. Get to the gym, work on your insight. That's a win. And if you do that, multiple little small wins over the day, by 9 o'clock, you've already won the day, right? Give yourself that gift, give yourself that gift to win the day, because tomorrow's not promised. And
there you have it. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for talking to me.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Tasha. I love it. I love you guys.
All right. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Hey. Don't forget to follow me, if you're not, on all platforms at TMAC_inspired. All right. See you on the next episode.